All right. Well, welcome everyone. I am so thrilled that you're here with us today. I want to just say happy Friday. It's Friday. It's the beginning of Financial Literacy Month. It's April Fool's Day. So we have lots of things going on today to celebrate, and not only the end of the work week, but an entire month dedicated to financial wellness. So really excited that you can be here with us. As I said earlier, as we move through the presentation, feel free to put any of your questions in the chat, any comments, questions, feedback that you have. If you've used iGrad or Enrich in the past and you have questions, we're really excited that we have an expert with us today. So please use this opportunity to, again, use that chat feature to ask questions and provide us with your thoughts as we move along in the presentation. So again, today, the focus of this session is to provide you with an overview of the digital financial wellness tool that we offer free of charge to all Mainers. And so we're really excited about that. For those of you that I have not met or that I don't know, my name is Mary Dyer, and I'm a Financial Education Programs Manager at FAME. I've been with FAME for 15 years now, and my background prior to joining FAME was in higher education, specifically financial aid administration. So I'm thrilled to be here. I think even more exciting than me being here, I'm thrilled to have Kevin Soner with us. He is the VP of Operations at iGrad and Enrich. And he is really the expert, all things related to the website, and he's going to be leading us through a demo later on as we move through the presentation. FAME has been partnering with iGrad for nearly 10 years, which I had to go back and look at my dates, Kevin, as we kicked off this webinar, because I can't believe that we're well into our 9th year, almost hitting our 10th year, I believe, in terms of our partnership. So we're really excited to have you with us, and excited to feature the resources that we have available to help you on your financial wellness journey. Real quickly, for those of you, I think all of you on the webinar are familiar with FAME and all of the resources that we offer. But for those of you who might not be, we are a quasi-independent state agency, and our primary goal is to provide support to Mainers and Maine businesses. And I'm saying something a little different than what you see on your screen. We certainly provide business and higher education solutions, but really from an education perspective, it's all about supporting Mainers as they plan, prepare, and save for higher education. I serve on the education team at FAME, and I'm part of the college access and financial education team who provides outreach, resources, support across the state to Maine families, both at the K-12 level, college level, and beyond. So really thrilled to be here. And if you haven't spent time on the FAME website and learned about the resources that we offer, I encourage you to do so. So before we kick off, again, as I said, it's Financial Literacy Month, so I think it's always great to sort of ground this conversation and these resources around what is this thing that we refer to when we say financial wellness? What is financial wellness? And of course, there's lots of different terminology that we use: financial literacy, financial wellness, capability, well-being. I mean, there's certainly a lot of ways that we describe it. But at the end of the day, I think one of our favorite sort of definitions came from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and they built or sort of developed this definition around feedback that they received from consumers as to how they define what does it mean to be financially well. And so some of the key things that were identified, first of all, having control over your day-to-day, month-to-month, and even year-to-year finances. Not being in that situation where you're living paycheck to paycheck is really one way that we define that. Obviously, another key indicator is the ability to absorb financial shocks. So being able to deal with those financial emergencies, unexpected expenses as they arise, are another key indicator as well. And then also one's ability to track and meet financial goals, to be looking at sort of short-term, mid-term, long-term goals, and to be able to make progress towards those goals. And then ultimately, and I think this is the key description, it's really to have the financial freedom to make the choices that will allow you to have a happy and successful life. And that's however you define it and however you determine that. All of us as individuals have a different definition of financial freedom. And so really financial stability and financial wellness is really the long-term goal, is that you have the financial freedom to do whatever it is that, you know, aligns with your values and your future goals. And so I think, again, that's a great way to sort of kick off the conversation. Now, we will be doing, as part of April as Financial Literacy Month, there's going to be a lot of communications and activities and opportunities that FAME will be launching throughout the month. So I encourage you just to keep an eye on the communications that we're sending out. Certainly keep an eye on our social media channels, our website. I'll share those links later on in the presentation, but just want you to know that we'll be doing a lot of things throughout the month, but really at FAME, because financial wellness is part of our mission, every month is Financial Literacy Month. And so certainly keep an eye out for all of the resources that we make available to you. Now, before I get into iGrad and Enrich, I do just want to kind of give you a quick overview. We could spend an entire separate hour on all of the information and resources that you'll find through FAME beyond just the online tool that we're going to be talking about today. But I want to touch on a few key things and a few key resources that I want you to be aware of and know that are available to you. First of all, if you visit the financial wellness section of the FAME website, which you can find by going to famemaine.com money-management, on that website and on that page, you will find a variety of financial wellness content, tools, resources, calculators, videos, and free publications. For example, we have a publication, and you can actually see a little tiny image of it on the slide here within the flyer that I'm showing you. We have a multi-page publication called Manage that you can order for free for your employees, for your students. If you're working with high school or college age students, that publication is available for you to order for free to use with your, whichever audience you might be working with. Again, there are some free calculators and tools. We have a lot of animated videos as well. One of our favorite tools that we like to promote to high school students and college students is we have a student loan salary debt calculator that we love for students to utilize. It allows them to put in their anticipated salary, and it will give them a ballpark sort of limit on what their student loan indebtedness should be relative to that salary. It also will allow you to do the calculator in reverse, where you can put in your student loan debt, and it will tell you the amount of salary that you're going to need to support that. So we like to use that with students in late high school and college as they're beginning to make those borrowing decisions. So please take a moment to take a look at the financial wellness tools that we have for individuals on that page. The other thing that we just launched that's brand new is we just developed an employer financial wellness roadmap. And this is a digital tool that provides employers with best practices, research that we've conducted, various resources and tools to help you develop your own employee financial wellness program. I'm not going to go into too much detail about our program, but FAME is in its 4th year of offering what we believe is a very robust employee financial wellness program. It's incentive-based, and it combines coaching and Money in the Mornings workshop series and the digital financial wellness tool that we'll be talking about in a moment. But we really felt like when we developed our program, there weren't a lot of Maine-based resources to help us develop and really understand what the needs are. And so we felt like this roadmap was a great opportunity to help other, both public and private employers, build their own program based on our experience. So we hope that you'll take a look at that. And also, in addition to the roadmap, we provide technical assistance. So I'm meeting with employers regularly to help them understand sort of how did we build our program? Where did we begin? What are the employee engagement tools that are most effective that you can be implementing? And what are sort of the best strategies that we found were most effective in engaging our employees? So feel free to reach out to me and use the roadmap as much as possible. It's available on the website. If you go to the employer financial wellness section, you can also download and print the entire roadmap as well. It's available as a PDF. And then last but not least, among other things that we do offer, I do want you to be aware you're part of this webinar today. This is part of a monthly series that we offer. It's called our Financial Check-In series. And this is essentially free webinars that we offer to Maine people, specifically focused on planning, preparing, paying for higher education, and repaying student loans. So we hope that you'll keep an eye on future webinars. I will, at the end of this session, talk to you about what's going on for our May webinar topic, but I just want you to know that this is an ongoing series, and we do record all of the webinars, and they are available on our website. And then last but not least, just also as I mentioned, I'm part of the College Access and Financial Education team. I noticed that there were a lot of professionals who joined the webinar today, and so I want you to be aware that we do have a team of experts who will come into your school or organization to do presentations on, various financial wellness topics, FAFSA completion, college savings. So certainly reach out to us as well if that's something that you're interested in. We also recently hired 2 brand new college savings counselors, and so they are also available to come into your organization or present virtually to your students or employees or whatever community you're serving to help navigate the college savings process and helping you get started in that. And so please certainly reach out to us. We also have a ton of resources for K-12 students and educators. And again, I'll be sharing some additional resources at the end of the presentation related to that as well. So with that, I'm going to now dive into our conversation about iGrad and Enrich. So iGrad and Enrich are 2 online digital financial wellness tools that we've been using at FAME, as I said, for nearly 10 years. iGrad and Enrich are national products that are available, and what I certainly can attest to the fact are best in class, certainly the country's top financial wellness tools. And so we've partnered long ago to bring these tools to Mainers for free through a variety of different platforms. Again, the whole purpose behind these tools fundamentally is to help Maine families plan, prepare, save, and pay for higher education and beyond. So I'm really excited to share those tools with you. Now, we make these resources, the online tool, available through a variety of different platforms. And so first of all, we've partnered with several colleges and universities in Maine to provide them with an opportunity to have their own iGrad site, their own customized co-branded site. And so on the slide here, you'll see that we've partnered with all of the campuses of the University of Maine system, the Maine Community College system, Maine College of Art and Design, and Thomas College. And so each of those campuses have their own custom, unique, co-branded iGrad experience. And iGrad is really the tool that's been developed and designed for college students. We also make it available to high school students and their families as well, again, free of charge to the student and family. But in addition to that, all of the colleges have their own custom site. I have the link on this page here. If you're wondering what your college's site is and how to locate that, you can go to fame.igrad.com/landing/finder school. There's also a place at the top of the iGrad generic site, as I'll refer to it. If you go to fame.igrad.com, which is FAME's own custom co-branded iGrad site, up at the top right, you can find your school as well if you're unsure what the website address is for your custom co-branded site, should you be attending one of those institutions. So in addition to the co-branded site that we offer to colleges and universities, as I mentioned, we also have what I refer to as our generic co-branded high school college site that we make available to everyone else. So we understand that not everyone is attending one of those institutions, and we have high school students and families and adult learners and students who are attending other campuses. And so we want to be sure that these resources are available to everyone. So to offer that, we, in addition to the co-branded sites, we do have a separate site available to you at fame.igrad.com. And you can go there. And again, we pay for iGrad on behalf of Mainers. And so you don't have to pay for those resources or to have access to the site. And you can actually create an account and begin using the resources. And again, Kevin will take you through a demo of the sites as well. Now, one of the great things about the fact that Fame has covered the cost of these online tools for you is that you're not going to be inundated with third-party marketing and emails because iGrad or Enrich has sold your information to other companies. So this has been paid for and this is non-commercial. And so you can trust in the fact that you're not going to be solicited by other third-party entities as a result of this. I call the site free, but one thing I just want to also emphasize is it's not completely free. We did pay for it, but it's free to the consumer, it's free to the family, and it's free to the end user. Now, in addition to iGrad, we also have purchased a site for after college and beyond. And so this is the site that we use with our employees and we use with adults who've left college and are beyond that phase of their life. And that tool is Enrich. And again, I believe Kevin today is going to take you through the Enrich site. It might be iGrad. I think we agreed that Enrich was where you would land, Kevin. But essentially, Enrich is very similar to iGrad. It just provides additional resources beyond just the planning and paying for college and financing college and some of those key topics that are relevant while you're in college. It really goes beyond that and focuses on the content and information that you need as an adult. When you're working full-time, you're trying to plan for retirement, you're trying to plan to save for college for your own child. It really builds upon the content and resources available in iGrad and provides more information for those of us who are well into adulthood and now thinking about those topics beyond financing college. And so again, that's another resource that is available. You'll go to fame.enrich.org to sign up for that site. This is like a preview shot of my Enrich site. One of the things that I love about Enrich, and Kevin will talk to you about this, is that it's completely personalized based on your financial goals and challenges. And so when you sign up for iGrad or Enrich, it's really going to essentially build the website around the way that you've sort of set up the platform in the beginning. You complete a financial checkup and it takes you through a series of questions, and that results in you being offered up content and recommended resources based on your experience. One of the things on the site that you can do when you first log in, and you'll see off to the left here in this picture of mine, there's a camera. You can actually change that photo. The thinking behind that is having a financial goal front and center on your screen whenever you use the tool is a great motivator to help you achieve that goal. So you can all see, you know, living in Maine all winter, that is my current financial goal for sure, to get to a sunny, warm location. But certainly retirement, there's other images that you can change your profile to, but it's a great way to sort of keep you motivated and keep you on track. So just real quickly, I wanted to provide the links here before we get into the demo. As I said in the chat, while you're, listening and Kevin's going to walk you through the demo, certainly feel free to go to fame.igrad.com if you're in high school or in college, or you can go to fame.enrich.org and begin to sign up. There are some key steps, and Kevin's going to take you through this There's so much information available on iGrad and Enrich, and it's delivered in a whole variety of different formats, from, certainly content driven, but also videos, infographics, courses, tools, calculators, but there's a lot. And so by completing, as I said, that checkup, it's going to serve up content to you based on your experience and kind of where you're at on your financial path. After that, we recommend that users complete the My Money Personality tool, and Kevin's going to show you what that is, but that's a really great tool, I think, to use next when you're a brand new user, because it helps you to get a handle on your money mindset, which we all know is a huge driver of financial behavior and decision making. It's all about our emotions and our psychology. And so the Money Personality tool helps you get a handle on that. And then from there, I think you can really begin to sort of browse the content on your own. Check out some of the videos, the infographics, various articles. And then last but not least, there's a variety of financial wellness courses that you can complete. And I think that that's a really, a great step to take after you've done sort of those initial checkup and money personality tools. So I'm going to stop my screen share here, and that way I can turn it over to Kevin, and he's going to take over the controls and talk a little bit more about iGrad and Enrich. I'm sure there are some things that I left out, Kevin, that you'll want to share, and then take us through the demo. And remind me, will you be looking at iGrad or Enrich for users?
We're going to go through the fame.enrich.org site, and I'll talk a little bit about like some of the differences.
Wonderful. Great, Kevin. I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mary. So as Mary said, my name is Kevin Soner. I'm the Vice President of Operations for iGrad. A little bit more of a background about the company. We started in 2009, so going on a little over 13 years. We started off as a result of our CEO, myself, and a variety of others within the company, all previously working in the financial aid lender space. In 2008, as some of you probably are aware, the federal government took the federal student loan program back into fully government controlled, and that eliminated the private lender processing aspect of that. And so kind of the blessing in disguise, silver lining, whatever you want to call it, we were all looking for something to do. And opportunity, they say in entrepreneurship, is you find a problem and you create a solution. And the problem that a lot of us in the financial aid industry saw was students not knowing what they were doing while taking on debt. And that's really where iGrad came from. We started off kind of myopically focused on how do we make student borrowers better educated about what they're doing. We quickly realized that it doesn't matter if you know what the details of your loan are if you don't understand basic financial principles and basic money management. And that's where financial aid education kind of blossomed into a well-rounded, holistic kind of personal finance education mission. A few years after that, the financial wellness kind of movement really took hold outside of higher education, and we expanded, adding the Enrich platform to assist all of those that were not directly connected to a higher education institution, so that we could provide employers, financial institutions, third-party organizations like FAME and others with supporting the postgraduate audience with their financial education resources. We've really found that it doesn't matter if you are in high school getting ready to borrow for college, or if you're 50 and nearing retirement and trying to figure out, am I on track? Like, everybody is at a different point in their financial journey, no matter what age you are. And most people still have questions and still need some level of assistance. So that's where our platform was really targeted to cover all ends of the spectrum, no matter where you are on your financial journey. And I'll demonstrate a little bit of that. One of the things that Mary mentioned that I really want to reinforce, we are a financial education company. We are not a division of a financial services company. So we don't have any ulterior motive to lead you to our financial products. All we do is provide education. All of our funding comes from sponsoring organizations like FAME. The end user doesn't pay for the services, but some sponsoring organization does. And that allows us to provide the unbiased financial education that has no motive to lead you to a purchase or a product. We have been around, again, for about 13 years. We recently expanded the platform to a responsive design model. Wasn't really an issue when we started, but everybody talks about apps these days. And we constantly get the question of, oh, is this available in an app? We made the decision a while ago to make it not app-based because we believe that makes it more accessible. It's built on a responsive design platform, which basically means no matter whether you're on a phone, a tablet, a computer, if you have 2 monitors and you shrink your screen, no matter what you do, our system recognizes the display that our platform is being shown on any major web browser, and it customizes the layout to be optimized for the size of the screen. So it's ultimately accessible. Pull up any device with any web browser, and you're going to be really easy to access the platform without having to download anything and really just jump right into the educational experience. Okay. With that, I'm going to jump into a little bit of the demonstration. I'm going to go through relatively quickly to give kind of a high-level overview so that we can circle back to questions. But I will demonstrate the kind of starting point that Mary mentioned of sign up, do your checkup, do the money personality, and then how the coursework and browsing the content in the platform functions. So let me get that screen share going. Okay, so you should have the FAME Enrich platform on your screen right now. So I do have a user that I created where I already went through a lot of the setup process so that you don't have to see me go through all of the questions, but I do want to show just a little bit of how the process works for anybody that has not signed up. So when you come to the sign up, really easy. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address. We do always ask you to put your email address in twice so that we make sure you don't have any typos. Pick a password and then, yep.
Sorry, I'm just going to interject real quick and have you talk about if someone is signing up through their school, what the best email address to use, and if they're signing up through their employer, what do you recommend in terms of preferred email addresses?
So we typically recommend that if you are going to be leveraging the platform connected to a certain organization and you have an email that's issued by that organization, that's the email that you use. So if you're a student on your school site, or if you're an employee at a school. So for example, when you're on this general Enrich site that is designed for the staff, you'll notice that you're going to choose which organization or which institution that you're associated with. So in this type of environment, we would want you to use your employer issued email. That just makes it a lot easier from the reporting perspective so that we know that you're in the right location. There we go. A little bit of a typo there. It's a highly secure password requirement. So this is how you would be welcome to the platform. So it lets you know that first thing that you do is start with a checkup. You'll start getting recommendations through our personalization algorithm. We want you to do the money personality, understand a little bit about how you make your decisions. And then you can track your goals, take courses, and explore the content. So it kind of summarizes just like what Mary was saying. So the financial wellness checkup, it's going to put you through a series of questions. I'm going to skip out of this and I'll show you the results of that with my demo user. If you go through, you can see over here that we ask you some questions about your career trajectory, your money basics, credit and debt, future goals, and financial protection. So we hit on 5 different categories, asking questions like, what is your current stress level around money? What types of things are stressing you out? What are your financial goals? And then some just foundational skill things like, do you normally pay your bills on time? How often do you budget? Monthly, weekly, yearly, and so on. And it allows us to create a profile to recommend the content that's going to be most meaningful to you. As I mentioned earlier, we cover the whole spectrum, which if you just dove into all the content at once, it could seem a little daunting if we're covering everything from the basics of budgeting to trusts and wills and retirement strategy. So this checkup allows us to narrow the scope and put front and center what's most meaningful specifically for you. When you get to your dashboard, Mary mentioned that you can pick your cover photo. So we have a variety of different images in here that are associated with your goals. It does play on that behavioral psychology of visualization. If you always have that visual in front of you. I know when I first got out of college, somebody said, take a picture out of a magazine of the house that you want and pin it up in your cubicle. That's your motivation to work hard. And it's really a play on that. And then you can also upload your own profile picture, just really make it feel like this dashboard is your personal home. You're also going to see when we go into our tools section, this is where you can launch your money personality. I'm going to go to the results of this on my demo user. This is also going to be in your dashboard. You'll notice that I have this call to action here because I skipped out of that initial checkup. We're going to remind you, hey, in order to get recommendations, you need to complete that. If I've already done my checkup, then this call to action is going to say, learn more about your money personality. So we make those two really important things super easy to access and high profile in your dashboard to encourage users to complete the checkup and complete the personality analysis, because they are really cornerstones of personalizing this experience and making it as impactful as possible to the individual. So I'm going to log out and then log back in with my pre-answered user. Okay, so you can see here in my dashboard, because I've already completed both the initial checkup and the money personality, I don't have that primary call to action. If I was to come back in a month or two, it's going to have a call to action there encouraging me to update my checkup. The idea behind the checkup is it starts off the personalization, but it does serve similar to why you go to the doctor every once in a while, even though you're healthy. Is you want to constantly check in, and you'll go through and you can click on update checkup at any time right from your dashboard. It allows us to make sure that our assumptions of your current situation are still the same. So we want to make sure that your recommendations are accurate, and by updating the checkup, it's going to allow us to do so. So we'll nudge you every once in a while, but you can proactively come in and update through the dashboard. As a result of doing those two measures, you'll notice that I have courses here that have recommended flags on them. And then as I use the scroll, you'll notice that there's a pretty extensive course library. So it's automatically going to move all of the courses that are most recommended for me based on my profile right to the top of that list. I also start receiving content recommendations right here within my profile based on the way that I answered my questions. So I mentioned in one of the questions that I don't have any insurance coverage. So one of the first things is the process of obtaining insurance, because that's a really important thing, especially because of the way that I answered questions. I have an auto loan, but I said I didn't say that I have auto insurance. So the system's like, alert, alert, this person needs to learn about insurance. I also mentioned that I have student loans, so I have student loan debt management strategies. So it's really surfacing content that's going to be relevant to me. I can also click on this See More, and this is going to dive into my comprehensive recommendations. So I'm going to see that same block of my top recommendations, but then I also start to see contextual recommendations. And if you've ever used Spotify, Netflix, or any other kind of personalized content platform, you'll recognize the format of seeing kind of a left to right layout of recommendations with some kind of a reference of the context. So is this being recommended because you watched a certain show? Is this being recommended because you like crime dramas, or you're into a certain type of music? It's the same concept here. And we tell you answered in your checkup, you're supporting a college student. So here's some content that's really important for people that are in that scenario. I mentioned that I have medical debt, so I'm receiving specific content about how to tackle my medical debt. And we don't want to overwhelm you, so we're not going to list every possible thing that could be recommended for you. It notes up here at the top that your content recommendations are going to be updated every 2 weeks. So we give you a little bit of time to get through this set of content recommendations, and then it's going to refresh those recommendations based off of what you've done in your initial checkup, but also all of the activity on the platform. So even if you didn't answer a question in your checkup a certain way, if you start reading 20 articles on 529 plans and saving for your child's education, the system's going to learn, hey, they didn't say they were doing this when they did their checkup, but it's obvious they have a real need for information on this topic, and it'll adapt and it'll update proactively. So it's not going to rely solely on you updating your checkup. In the tools, the money personality, this is my favorite part of the platform. Obviously, I love education, but let's face it, reading like what are the definitions of the terms of a budget isn't really the most exciting piece. This is really interesting, and this started a couple of years ago. I'm sure everybody that's on this call probably at some point in their life went through one of those goofy quizzes to find out which Friends character or which Star Wars character you're most like. Like, everybody likes to learn about themselves. And so it takes maybe 5 minutes. You answer about 15 or 20 Likert scale questions. How much does this statement relate to you? Not at all, very much, that type of thing. It allows us, using a Myers-Briggs style analysis, to create a profile of different personality traits as it relates to your financial decision making. You get this really cool layout in the results. So first we tell you a little bit about the science, the why, the how, like a little bit of the validity of how we created this. I can tell you it was about a 2.5-year project working with some behavioral economist PhDs, a lot of work, a lot of beta testing, lots of user testing, a lot of refinement to get it to work and get it really accurate. But the first thing you'll see is emotions. Like, are you an emotional spender? Are you a cautious spender? And I'm not going to go through all of the different categories. I just want to kind of show you one of the layouts of the results, because it tells you what it means with that analysis, but it also tells you your strengths and challenges for that certain personality type. And these are just things that you can make sure that you're cognizant of as you make financial decisions, and understand what are the things that you might want to kind of just be aware of and be leery of when you're making those financial decisions. We also start giving you recommendations in here that are specific to your personality type. Okay, so in addition to the recommendations that are based off of your financial situation, your goals, your stress points, your financial practices, we give you these specific recommendations that are based off of your personality profile. Mary mentioned that interacting with courses, this is a great way to engage with content. It's one of the most popular areas of the platform. As much as certain portions of our population do like to self-navigate and kind of browse around and read individual articles and videos, we have found that people really like to go through kind of a linear guided path through a certain topic. So that's what our courses are. You'll note here on the side that it has a little bit of a timestamp. The average course is going to be probably around 15 to 20 minutes. Occasionally, they'll be a little bit longer. We do have some advanced courses and intermediate courses that go a little bit longer as we go into a little bit more detail. When you do take a course, it starts off with a setup process where it's going to ask a variety of questions that not only gauges what is your knowledge base of that topic, but there's some things that based on your answers, it'll actually personalize the experience. I was talking to somebody the other day about the fact that they started off, they took an introductory course, and based on the way they answered the setup questions, our platform stopped them and said, "Are you sure this is the right course for you? You seem to be really on top of this. And this is an introductory course. We recommend you take the advanced version of this course." And so it really does try to adapt to you, not just in putting recommended flags on things, but it actually adapts to you throughout the process to try and make sure that you're consuming the stuff that is really the most meaningful for you. One of the great things about the coursework is that it's set up in kind of a bite-sized step-by-step process. So you might have a video that you watch, then you hit next, go to the next step, then you might read a little bit, you go to the next step, you might have an interactive tool. Every time you hit next, it automatically saves your progress moving from step to step. So you lose internet or you get busy and you have to leave and come back. Completely no thought required on your side. All your progress is going to be saved to exactly where you are. You can come back and finish it anytime. So real easy to go. When you complete courses, you get an action plan. So similar to the output from the money personality, where it gives you some details about strengths and weaknesses and things that you can potentially consider as you move out into the real world. How do you leverage this knowledge with real world action? You're going to get that with each of the courses. So you're not just going to go through a course and get a score. You're going to get a personalized action plan of how you can apply that knowledge to your day-to-day life within that topic. Whether it's after you've done a course or whether you're just somebody that likes to kind of get your hands in and play around with the numbers, we have a lot of really great tools. You'll notice that it's broken down into featured tools at the top. And then if you scroll down, there's a more tools section. As is kind of evident by the thumbnail imagery, the more tools are really going to be your more traditional concept of a calculator. More one screen, you put in a bunch of numbers, and then you hit submit, and then you're going to have an output screen, kind of like your traditional quick. If I have $5,000 in credit card debt, my interest rate is 10%. I want to have it paid off in 5 years. How much should I pay every month? That type of calculator. Our featured tools are going to be more of your kind of more complex and kind of really interactive functionality. There's things in here like our scholarship search. This is a proprietary scholarship database that's housed internally here. We are very strict about what we allow in there. We don't have anything that is essentially marketing ploy generators or things of that nature. It's designed around getting actual scholarships in front of people so that they can apply without having to answer a bunch of questions and get on a bunch of marketing lists as a result. We also have things like focusing on establishing an emergency fund, 529 savings planning, home affordability estimators. And so a lot of these take into account a lot of different factors like the home affordability. You can put in your income or your future income if it's something that you're trying to plan for down the road, where you are in the country, and it factors in the local market where you're trying to buy and a lot of other different factors. So it's a lot more robust than a traditional calculator. We're pulling in a lot of data feeds from outside, so you don't have to come with all of the information like what is the average home price in the area you're looking for and things of that nature. These also adapt to the individual. So like our student loan snapshot, this based on the questions that you go through as you're interacting with the tool, you could be looking to borrow. You could be in the middle of school and have some money you've already borrowed and future borrowing needs, or you could be in repayment. Everybody can use the exact same tool. And as you're going through and answering the questions and inputting your details, it's going to adapt the output analysis to where you are in that borrowing life cycle. Then our last section is our topics. So I like to describe the topics as this is like picking up the newspaper, if you're old like me, or going on to a website, a version of a newspaper, and you're kind of browsing around. You don't have a specific goal or objective. You're not coming in here to do one specific thing that you knew before you got there. You want to see what's the newest articles, what's the newest information. You might want to know like what's trending, things of that nature. So we make this so that you can kind of browse around. You can browse by topic. This is driven by AI. So what this is indicating right now is that the spending less topic is currently the most popular content category for the users of this Fame Enrich platform. So let's say Mary and her team sent out a communication around emergency funds and setting up emergency funds, and it got a lot of traction. Then you would see this emergency fund tile move up to the top row as people started engaging with emergency fund tools and courses and content. So this is a lot of our users like to have peer-to-peer kind of influence. So they're curious, what's everybody else learning about right now? And that's what you can leverage by this popular topics ranking. You'll also get references to your recommendations. Some people like to just browse around by, I like webinars, I like infographics, I like videos. So you can browse by content type. You can browse different series of content if you'd like to go through a variety of different articles or videos on the same topic. Or you just want to see what's new. A lot of our users will come back, whether it's daily, weekly, bi-weekly, whatnot, and they just jump right into the latest content section to see what are we producing, what's the most recent stuff. You'll notice that there's some things in here about tax returns because everybody's been filing their taxes recently. So it's a good way to stay on top of the recent content. We publish anywhere from about 15 to 30 new bite-sized pieces of content, articles, videos, infographics every month. We do one brand new course roughly every quarter. And then tools are going to be sporadic throughout the year, anywhere between 1 to 2 per quarter. A lot of people are familiar with the concept of trending. So the difference between trending and popular, trending is this is what is the content that is getting the most traction right now, like last 48-hour type of thing, what is getting the most views. And then we also have a dedicated section that we never had prior to COVID, to be honest. Prior to COVID, majority of our content was purely educational. And then there was a huge push when COVID happened to kind of tie financial topics to kind of real world things that are happening. And so that really blossomed into a lot of content that is related to financial news and financial trends. So you'll see things like the new extension on federal student loan relief. So as we get these different updates about various different topics that are in the financial world, we've added that to the purely educational items. Last thing I'm going to show you is you'll notice up here, I've got this heart icon, and as I'm hovering over different pieces of content, you'll notice that a heart icon appears. This is a great way when you're logged into your account where you can say, maybe I read this and I really like it, or that looks interesting and I don't have time to read it right now, but I want to make sure I can find it easy later. You click on that heart. Now I can come up in my top navigation, and my favorite content is all easily organized. So we're going to recommend content to you, and you can also groom your own reading list by using that heart icon to save it for later in an easy to access area. And with that, I'll kind of pause, toss it back to Mary, open up for questions. Unfortunately, I can't see chat while I'm sharing my screen, so I'm not sure what questions have been coming in.
There was one question, Kevin, about whether or not there's content around health insurance, ideas regarding health insurance.
Yep. So one of the great things about the content is if you go to the topics page and you come down right beneath where it says popular topics, there's this see more topics button. And one of the differences between the iGrad and Enrich platform is going to be some of the different topics that are available. There's some topic classifications that are kind of more student centric and some that are more postgraduate centric. And so you can come in and you can find these. When we look at our content library, you're probably looking at about 80 to 90% of the content is shared across both platforms. And a lot of it has to do with like kind of organization, but there is some content such as health insurance where you might see information where the actual subject matter, like the title of an article might say like health insurance considerations for the college student. So there might be something that is really specific. For example, I'm on the Enrich platform, which is postgraduate. So there's a dedicated content section around employer-sponsored health plans. So we have a general section on healthcare. We also have a section on employer-sponsored health plans. We also have FSA and HSA for some of the health-related benefits that people have. So you can jump into a topic section by having navigated through that area. We also have a really nice search here. So you can come up and you can say healthcare, do your search. And our search results are really nice because it breaks it down into the different types of content that you can access. So I typed in healthcare and I'm going to know right away, there's a dedicated course specifically on understanding health insurance. But because healthcare is also just a general insurance, it's going to be touched on under our insurance course, our paycheck course, because some of your money is going to go towards your healthcare. So you can kind of infer by the titles of courses which one is going to be more comprehensive on the search term that you did versus other ones that might touch on it. Again, those dedicated topics that I was just looking at, there's going to be some additional ones like long-term care insurance that might pop up in the results. And then we have our bite-sized pieces of content. And in your search results here, you can also go in and say, now I want to narrow this down because I just want to watch videos or I want to watch articles. And start here, guys, are comprehensive articles. They're kind of like a long form article. And you'll notice that they all start with the title, Everything You Need to Know. So everything you need to know about the laws that affect your insurance benefits, everything you need to know about long-term healthcare. And you'll see the timestamps on articles and videos so that before you dive into it, you have a little bit of an understanding of, is this a comprehensive page that I'm going to be jumping into? This long-term care insurance one is flagged at 11 minutes. Whereas if I say that I'm interested in articles, there's a lot of 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute, kind of quicker to consume articles that are going to touch on kind of a segment of the topic, whereas a Start Here guide is generally going to be focused on a little bit more detail.
Great, that's wonderful, Kevin. And for those of you out there who will be using this with consumers or students or various audiences, I love the ability to save recommended content, because if there's something that I want to use in a presentation or in a counseling session, I can have a nice place where everything is there and I don't have to go searching. And then I also love that you can filter by content type. So, if you want to show a specific quick video or use an infographic as a tool with the population that you're working with, it's just nice that you can filter all of that. So that's great. Just to recap, because I think sometimes it can be confusing. We did a presentation recently where we talked about the digital offerings, and I think it gets a little confusing because there's multiple pathways. So just to recap, for college students attending University of Maine system, Maine Community College system, Thomas College, Maine College of Art and Design, they have their own iGrad sites. And when you go to the FAME generic iGrad site, you can locate it there if you're unsure. You can also find a link on our website to locate your custom iGrad site for your college. For everyone else who's in high school, college, who perhaps isn't affiliated with one of those institutions, we have our own iGrad site that we make available, and that's at fame.igrad.com. And then for adults beyond college, and employers who want to provide financial wellness to their employees, that's when fame.enrich.org is the resource that you'll want to be using. So we use Enrich with our employees. You can promote Enrich and use Enrich with your employees as well. So I just wanted to kind of recap the different pathways. There's really technically not even just 3, because each of the campuses has their own unique link and their own co-branded site. But just wanted to clarify that. And then before we finish up, I just want to make you aware of an upcoming webinar that we'll be doing. So part of this ongoing financial check-in with FAME, as I mentioned, we do record these sessions and make them available, so you can access the previous recordings on our website. But our next session will be on May 13th from 12 to 1, and it's going to be solely focused on the temporary public service loan forgiveness waiver that the federal government announced in October. And I can't emphasize temporary enough, because this waiver opportunity will end on October 31st. And so we're actually bringing a national expert. Her name is Betsy Mayotte. And she's with an organization, a nonprofit organization that supports student loan borrowers, providing free student loan advice. And so we're going to bring her because she is an expert in all things public service loan forgiveness. So she'll be presenting for us on May 13th from 12 to 1. So we hope that you'll join us. You can go to famemaine.com/events to register. And again, if you can't join for the webinar live, you can watch the recording after the fact. And then the other opportunity, again, because I saw a lot of professionals on the webinar today, folks who are doing financial education and providing financial education in their communities, there is a statewide financial education conference coming up on May 19th at the Augusta Civic Center. This is the Fostering Financial Education in Maine Schools Conference, brought to you by Maine Jumpstart Coalition. And FAME is a longstanding sponsor and partner of Maine Jumpstart. So we're really excited to promote that conference. It's our first live in-person event in a couple of years, so we're really excited about it. The audience for this is primarily pre-K through grade 12 classroom teachers who are teaching personal finance and economics, but also community educators. It's really applicable for anyone who is supporting financial education in their community and wants some new resources, training, content, information to help support those efforts. So you can learn about that event at mainejumpstart.org. Just want you to be aware of that. And then on the last slide, certainly we hope that you'll follow us on social media. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we're going to be doing a lot of social media content this April in recognition of April as Financial Literacy Month. And so if you're joining us from an organization and you want to have content to share, certainly check out our various social media channels. There'll be a lot of posts that you may be able to share. We'll be doing a specific post focused on Enrich. And so certainly if you're looking for content to share with your communities, we hope that you'll follow us. So with that, that is all we have. We are going to conclude for today. Thank you so much, Kevin, for being with us and providing your expertise. It's always great to have someone from iGrad and Enrich to present with us, because you've got all of the latest and greatest information and always are able to provide those additional details that I sometimes forget about. There's a lot on the site. So the intelligence of the site and some of those resources that you provided, I'm glad to give everybody a chance to see that. So thank you for being with us. And thanks to everyone for joining. I am going to stop recording. Thanks everyone for being here.